In the quiet town of Umwezike, there was one rule every child knew before even learning multiplications. Never stay behind after school, especially when the corridor starts to echo footsteps that are not yours. But Aboy didn't believe in rules he couldn't test. He was 13, curious, and the kind of boy who asked why, even when others warned him not to. And that curiosity was exactly what led him into the story of Madam Koikoi, the teacher who died under mysterious circumstances and never really left. At St. Michael's Secondary School, Madam Koikoi was once the most feared teacher. She was strict. Her voice alone could silence a noisy classroom. Her heels echoed through the corridor with a sharp koi, 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 koi sound that made students sit straight even before she entered. That was how she got her name, Koi Koi. But one rainy term, everything changed. She was found at the bottom of the old school stairwell. Some said she slipped, others whispered she was pushed, but the school record simply said accidental death due to fall. Except nobody believed it, because students claimed that even after her burial, the sound of her heels never stopped walking in the school halls at night. Koi, 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 and anyone who heard it after dark was never the same again. A boy had just been transferred to St. Michael's. He was warned on his first day, "Don't stay late," his roommate told him, especially near the old staircase. "Why?" Aboy asked, smiling. The boy hesitated, because Madam Koikoi is still teaching, and she hates noise after school. Aboy laughed. Ghost stories didn't scare him. What scared him was ignorance, and that was his first mistake. He started small: a missing chalkboard duster, a classroom door that slammed even when no wind was blowing. That one evening, a boy stayed back to finish a math assignment. The school was empty, or at least it should have been. At exactly 6:45 p.m., he heard it. Koi, 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 koi. Footsteps, slow, deliberate, high heels on concrete. A boy paused. The sound came from the corridor outside his classroom, then stopped. Silence. He swallowed. "Hello?" he called softly. No answer. Then the chalkboard behind him scratched violently, not like writing, like someone dragging nails across it. A boy turned sharply. Nothing. But when he looked back at his desk, his math book had opened on its own, and written in red ink were three words: "Who is noisy?" A boy's heart dropped. That was Madam Koikoi signature phrase. The next day, a boy couldn't focus. He started asking questions. Teachers avoided his gaze. Students refused to talk, except one old cleaner who worked at night. She pulled him aside. "If you value your life," she whispered, "never answer when she asks you that question. Why?" The woman looked around nervously, because she is still counting her students, even in death. Before a boy could ask more, she shoved a rusty key into his hand. "What is this for?" But the woman already walked away. Then that night, curiosity won again. A boy returned to school after lights out. The gates were strangely unlocked. The air felt heavier, like the school itself was breathing slowly. He found the old staircase, the place where Madam Koikoi died, and beside it, a locked wooden door. His hands trembled as he used the key. It fits perfectly. The door opened with a long groan. Inside was darkness and the smell of old chalk and perfume. He stepped in. The room was small, a storage room forgotten by time, but inside were files, hundreds of them, student records, attendance sheets, detention logs, and at the very center, an old leather notebook labeled "Private M. Koikoi. The boy opened it. Inside were handwritten entries, but not normal ones. They were observations. Student 1 talks too much, must be corrected. Student 14 laughs during assembly, marked. Student 27 will be removed soon. Aboy frowned. Removed? He flipped further. Then he saw something that made his blood run cold. A list of names, all crossed out except one section titled "Final Students Still Uncollected." His name was not there, but the notebook suddenly turned to a fresh page. The words began to appear, as if someone invisible was writing it out. Slowly, carefully. "Aboy, you have entered my class." The lights in the room flickered. Koi, koi, koi. The sound was closer now. Right outside the door, a boy stepped back. The door slammed shut on its own. The chalk on the table lifted into the air. And then he heard her voice, cold, warm, too close. "Who is noisy?" A boy froze. His throat went dry. He remembered the cleaner's warning, never answer. The footsteps stopped right behind him. The room grew freezing cold. Then a hand touched his shoulder. The face of Madam Koikoi. A boy turned slowly and saw her. Madam Koikoi stood there in faded teacher's gown. Her face was pale like chalk. Her eyes empty but something somehow watching everything at once. Her heels didn't touch the ground, yet the sound continued. Koi, koi, koi. She tilted her head. "Are you noisy?" Aboy didn't speak. His mouth refused to move. She smiled faintly. "You opened my class register." The notebook on the table flipped open again. Pages turned violently, names glowing faint red. She stepped closer, and every step echoed like thunder in Aboy's ears. "You will complete my attendance." The Suddenly, the room shifted. The walls melted into memory. A boy saw it the night she died. Madam Koikoi wasn't alone on the stairs. Three senior students stood above her. They were laughing, arguing. She had caught them cheating in exams. She was taking them to the principal. One of them pushed her, not accidentally, on purpose, and as she fell, she whispered something. Not a curse, not a scream, just one sentence. "I will still teach you all. I will still teach you all." The vision snapped back. A boy gasped. Madam Koikoi's face was now inches from his. "I was not finished," she said softly, "and neither are you." A boy finally found his voice. "I didn't do anything," she paused, then slowly straightened. "No," she agreed, "but you entered my classroom." The temperature dropped again. Then unexpectedly, she stepped back. "You may leave." A boy blinked. "What?" But she added, "You will carry something for me." She extended her hand. A chalk stick appeared in it, black, burned at the edges. "This is my attendance chalk," she said. "Every night you will hear my footsteps." A boy shook his head. "No, I don't want this." Madam Koikoi tilted her head. "Then stay." A long silence. Then a boy grabbed the chalk. Immediately the door burst open. The footsteps stopped. The room went silent and she was gone. A boy ran. He didn't stop until he reached his hostel. He didn't tell anyone because when he tried to, the words wouldn't come out. But that night, everything changed. At exactly 6:45 p.m., he heard it again. Koi, 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 outside his window. Slow, patient, waiting, and then a whisper in his ear, "Take attendance." The next morning, Aboy noticed something terrifying. Names in his old school register were slowly disappearing, one by one, and new names were appearing in his handwriting, names he had never written consciously. And the worst part, at the bottom of every page, was the same message written in red ink: Madam Koikoi class never ends. Aboy understood something finally. He wasn't just a student anymore. He was now a part of her eternal classroom, and every night she would return to make sure everybody and everyone was present. If you listen carefully in St. Michael's Secondary School after sunset, you might still hear it. Koi, koi, koi. And if someone asks, who is noisy? Do not answer, because Madam Koikoi is still teaching and she never misses attendance. Before you go, make sure you subscribe to Magic Campfire Tales. Every week, we share incredible African stories filled with suspense, laughter, life lessons, and unforgettable moments. Hit the subscribe button, turn on notifications, and become part of our storytelling family. The next amazing adventure is just around the corner. It's just around the corner.